Hey guys! Welcome back to the Art Journal Thursday episode where we get creative every single Thursday here on this channel. In today's episode, we are going to paint these Monstera leaves with watercolors that I will be using for my future gallery wall in my new apartment. First thing you want to do is attaching some washi tape all around the paper. This is optional, but I really like the white frame it gives, and also if you use loose sheets of paper like I'm doing it here, it will prevent your paper from curling up. Now we can start outlining the general shape of the leaves using a pencil. The leaves of a Monstera plant are kinda round but also oval at the same time, similar to a heart. Here I place these shapes around the edges and hit about half of the leaf. I find this way the design will look more interesting and it will also create a more seamless pattern in the end. Once we have the general shape, we can go ahead and start adding more details. For this step, follow the line we created, then draw another line moving towards the center, and then after creating a curve like that, you want to go back towards your outline, creating a gap in between. You can also draw another line in the center so you know where the middle part is. And then we just need to repeat these steps until we reach the lower corner of the leaf. Draw along the outline for a bit, draw another line moving inwards, create a curve, and then draw another line moving back to the outline again. You can make the space bigger or smaller depending on the design you're going for. I would recommend to look onto some reference pictures so you get an idea how the leaves look. The lower part of the leaf looks a little bit like a round square, if the shape even exists. So I followed the last bit of the outline to the corner, moved upwards again, following the line, and then repeated the same steps, only mirrored. Some leaves also have a few holes, and that's why I added a few small holes here and there. Again, you can look at some pictures to get an idea where you can place them. And then we just need to repeat the same steps on the other two leaves. Take your time. The shapes don't have to look perfect, it's a plant after all. It doesn't grow in a perfect shape, and it moves and turns around, so the leaves might not look even. Now it's time to erase the guidelines in between those small parts of the leaves, and you can finally start painting. Let's start with the background first. Here I want to create a light yellow and pink colored shade so the green can really shine. For this step, let's prepare some pink colored paint first. Here you want to mix some pinkish or red colored paint with lots of water until you get a really nice and subtle shade of pink. You can always test it out first to see if you mixed in enough water. The more water you add, the lighter the shade will get. And now we can start painting. Here we want to color the background one small part at a time so we can create a really nice even pattern while using different colors. Apply some light pink colored paint onto the paper, and then what you want to do is mix in a little bit of yellow colored paint to it. You can prepare a little bit of paint in your mixing palette or just go all in and mix it directly on the paper, which I actually prefer sometimes. And then go ahead and repeat these steps. Apply some light red paint onto the paper and then blend it with a little bit of yellow together. Remember that watercolors dry lighter than they are, so you don't want to mix it into a super light shade if you are going for a more vibrant color. Don't forget to color the small holes in the leaves as well. Once you cover the whole background in paint, let everything completely dry and then we can paint the leaves. Now let's clean our brush in some clean water and prepare new paint. To make the color of the leaf look more interesting and to bring in more variety to the pattern, I will be using different shades of blue and green. First we need a little bit of light blue and then a little bit of a more forest green colored paint that we will make run into each other. So first you want to color a little bit of the leaf with the light shade of blue and then add the green color while blending those two colors in the middle so they melt together. It's important to not use too much water or otherwise the paint will just float around and create a not so smooth pattern once it's dry. So just add these two colors one by one and let them melt into each other. You don't have to follow a certain pattern, it can be really random as well. I also went ahead and added a little bit lime green colored paint on top and blended it in. If you don't have this shade, you can also just use a little bit of yellow paint as well. You don't need much of this shade, just a little bit here and there. And from here you can just play around with the different shades. While the left part of the leaf is drying, we can repeat the steps on the other side. Start with a light shade of blue or green and then make them melt into each other. Now all you need to do is repeat these steps on the other leaves until you painted everything. Don't think too much about the exact shade or where to place the paint exactly. We just want to create the first layer of paint so we can work from there and refine everything little by little. Since I felt like the background looked a little bit too empty, I decided to add a few branches with green berries on them. This is optional, but I think it turned out cute and made the design look more interesting. Here I created a few loose lines using a light green color that I painted over with a brown color paint later to create the branches, and then you can add berries in the color of your choice. I went for a light green color so they don't stand out too much. And now we can finally start adding more details to make the leaves look more realistic and interesting. What we're going to do is, we are going to use the lifting technique. With this technique, you want to use a clean wet brush and go over the areas you want to make brighter. In this case, I want to create a brighter line in the center and in between the smaller parts of the plant. So to lift the paint, go over the area with a clean wet brush to reactivate the paint, and then dip a tissue paper on top to absorb the paint. This might take a while, but I think the result looks great. Go over the area a few times if necessary, and don't forget to clean your brush from time to time. This is how it looks so far, but now we will make it look even better by creating more contrast using a darker shade of green. Here we want to add the paint right below the light green areas we just created, and then blend the paint right next to the center. This might look a little bit confusing, but think about how the plant is growing. Each side of the leaf is hanging down a little bit, creating highlights and shadows. So one side of the leaf is going to be darker because this part will be hanging lower, and the top part will be lighter as this part will get more light. Of course, it won't be 100% accurately because it's not what we are going for here, but I think it still gives the painting more depth and makes it more vibrant and interesting. Again, I would recommend looking at a reference picture to get some ideas on how an actual Monstera plant looks. But you absolutely don't have to make it look exactly the same. I think even before we added the details, you could tell what plant we're painting. And now it's time to remove the tape. Now you can go over some areas you might want to fix, and once you're happy with the painting, you're done. I think it turned out super cute and fun. I can't wait to frame it and hang it up my wall. If you're interested in seeing my craft room makeover, you should definitely subscribe and turn notifications on by clicking on the bell so you don't miss out on that. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up to support this channel, it will mean a lot to me. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more arts and crafts related videos in the future, and to click on the bell button to get notified whenever I upload a new arts and crafts related video on Thursdays and on Saturdays. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye!